Good morning. This is Leonardo Bellaccini. I'm from Tuscany. Actually, I born and grew up in Siena, which is a town in the southern part of Tuscany, on the border of the most important appellation of our region. So in the south we have Montalcino and Montepulciano, and at north the Chianti Classico region, and is where I live now. I live in the estate, in the San Felice winery, where we produce the Grigio, which is our Riserva Chianti Classico, and we produce some other wine like Poggio Rosso, which is our Gran Selezione. San Felice is an historical producer of Chianti Classico, one of the founder of the consortium of the Gallo Nero in 1924, and in 1980 we purchased the Campo Giovanni estate in Montalcino, and a few years later Perolla in Maremma, which is the part of Tuscany along the seaside. So today San Felice means wine producer of two of the most important appellations in Italy, Chianti Classico and Brunello, and in a sort of a new frontier land like Maremma, where we produce young wine, Vermentino as a white, Rosé, and a young red. And in Campo Giovanni, naturally, we produce our Brunello and a Riserva single vineyards called the Quercione, and the Rosso, the Montalcino, the young wine. But mostly of the production, 70% of the production come from our major estate in Chianti, which is San Felice in the Castelnuovo Berardenga area. Well, naturally, Chianti has been known historically as a young wine, very approachable, that match very well with Tuscan dishes, Tuscan food, but selecting the best Sangiovese, the best grape of our vineyards, we also produce our Riserva, Il Grigio, one of the most well-known brand around the world, and which is 100% Sangiovese, by the way, aged 2 years in oak and other 6 months in bottles, and then released. And from a very specific vineyards, the best soil, the best exposed vineyards we have, we produce our Poggio Rosso Gran Selezione. Poggio Rosso, that means red hill, is where Sangiovese give grape more rich and concentrate, that give wine with a long-lasting sensation and great aging capability. And is aged 2 years in 500 liters tonneau, and it represents our best expression of Chianti Classico. But we also have some young vineyards, and from the young vineyards, waiting that they become more mature to produce first class grape, we produce a young wine Contrada, which actually has been produced at the beginning to be the wine of the Palio. Probably somebody know, Palio is an historical horse race that we have in Siena. Historical means that it go since the 1600, so 400 years, and it represents a sort of battle that today is made in the central square, Piazza del Campo, and is made as a sort of horse race. So Siena is divided in different neighbor. Each neighbor has its flag, its horse, and we made this unique race twice a year. July 2nd and August 16th. And the night before, every contrada has its own party, 2,000-3,000 people eating on the streets. And for a couple of contrada, they ask to have a special wine dedicated to this event. So we made a few years ago this wine, and then because it succeeds, people enjoy the wine, we decide to start to release and export around the world. That is a good question, because it's something that many people also in Italy still don't know. Chianti is an historical region. As an historical region, has known difficult moment in the 50s or 60s, because the philosophy of the producer was more on the quantity than the quality, and the rules of the appellation doesn't help to produce quality, and so the image of the entire appellation is declined. So we decide to the consortium to enhance the quality of the Chianti wine of today, making a new category where the producer, because the Gran Selezione category must be produced by a state-owned grape, can show the real quality potential of our region. And the first year, 3 years ago, mostly of the producer started with the vintage 2010, that has been an amazing vintage, and then 2011 even better for Chianti. So the project really took off with a great, with powerful, and we are very happy of the result, both from the consumer point of view and from the press point of view. Several Gran Selezione wines received great rating by the journalists. We have two Gran Selezione. Actually, we have Il Grigio Gran Selezione. I presented the Riserva from 3 vineyards, the oldest 3 Sangiovese vineyards I selected, with blended with a 20% of indigenous forgotten varieties. I create with the vintage 2010 the Grigio Gran Selezione, and then the Poggiorosso, the single vineyards. So both are great wine, but with 2 different philosophies. The Grigio Gran Selezione must be more approachable, still a powerful wine, but more easy drinking also when it's young. Poggiorosso is a wine for a long aging in the cellar, so it's a wine that is very rich and powerful, more concentrated in with a big body. Well, first of all, I want to say that you are coming in one of the most beautiful regions of the world, naturally. It's also because it's my region, but not only because it's my region, because I really believe that the hills, the historical hills of Chianti have been maintained by and cultivated with vineyards, olive trees, and forests, and this combination make of a unique landscape, and in between the landscape you can find beautiful hamlet, beautiful little town like Radda, like Greve, or like Castelnuovo Berardenga, where we are located, and a lot of arts, I would like to remember that Italy is the country with the 70% of the art in the world, and Tuscany is where 70% of the arts are located. So beautiful church, beautiful old town, a lot of history, and the food is simple because at the end we are in the countryside, but for this reason mostly of the product grow locally, and unless you are going to eat salmon or lobster that we don't have, if you are going to have a Fiorentina or a wild boar soup or tagliatelle, are generally made with local food and are all amazing.